quarter. Quickley, good! 7 for 10 in the quarter, getting stops and delivering threes.
What a game! What a game! No Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, Bruce Brown, or RJ Barrett for the Raptors, and it started off as bad as you'd expect even against the lowly Blazers. Portland jumped out to a 17-point lead in the first quarter and led by as much as 21 throughout, and yet still Toronto clawed back to force overtime, where they eventually lost.
I'm really proud of our effort, and we never stopped competing. We never stopped fighting for each other, and I give a lot of credit to our guys staying in the game and finding the way to get back in the game. And but you know, when you start the game with that deep, with a big differential there, you just gotta put way too much in the game later on. And but I thought also by the end of the regulation time that we were way tired going into overtime, because we gave it all that we had there in that stretch in the fourth quarter just to force the overtime.
The Raptors really struggled offensively to start this game. They shot 20% from 3 in the first quarter, were 4 of 16 to start, and Portland just took advantage, getting out in transition, dominating on the boards, especially DeAndre Ayton, who finished with 30 points and 19 rebounds. Still, Toronto slowly got back into it. Gary Trent Jr. and Kelly Olynyk started knocking down their shots to chip away at the lead, and by the start of the fourth quarter, the Raptors were down by just 11, and at that point, Chris Boucher and Immanuel Quickley took over. Quickley scored 25 points in the second half, 10 of them in the fourth quarter. Boucher, meanwhile, played 26 minutes, finished with 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 blocks, and he put his body on the line to get the game-winning tip to force overtime.
I mean, it's not my first year that this happens. I think it happens a lot where I don't play. But, my confidence is always staying the same. I think my role is always the same. When I come in a game, they expect me to bring energy and get rebounds and just put a little bit of chaos in the game. And that's also, something that I know I'm able to do. So it doesn't really change much through the year. Obviously, you got ups and downs, but I think the one thing that I'm able to do now is sustain the moments where I'm not playing well, the moment when I'm not, on the floor, I'm able to just stay above, knowing that I already went through it before.
Now in OT, the Raptors got outscored 15-5 as Portland just ran away with it. Ex-Raptor Delano Banton followed up a 30-point game by putting up 25 points on his former team, including a few shots. In the end, if the Raptors had played better to start this game, maybe it plays out differently, but one of the reasons they even got back into it in the first place was Boucher, his energy, his effort, and that is what we're going to talk about in the film room. The final 45 seconds of fourth quarter basketball in this game really encapsulated why Chris Boucher is such a winner when he's on the basketball court. He always crashes the offensive glass. He's ready to win extra possessions for his team, and this time it forces a foul call on Matisse Thybulle. The very next possession, the Raptors try to get something going for Immanuel Quickley. Nothing really happens. Quickley finds Chris Boucher in the dunker spot. He gets fouled. He goes to the free throw line. By the way, Chris made all 6 of his free throws tonight, including those 2 clutch ones to make it a 2-point game in the dying seconds. And with 24 seconds on the clock, look who it is tasked with trying to contain Anthony Simons full court. He does so. It forces commotion. Raptors players saying it was out on Simons, Blazers saying it was out on them. Ultimately, the refs didn't see that it very clearly went out on Anthony Simons, and so they decided, pretty bizarrely, to make this a jump ball call. Boucher wins the tip, so now he's won 2 extra possessions for the Raptors in just 45 seconds of basketball. Raptors try to get something going for Quickley once again. Dying seconds, give it to your star point guard. Tons of attention sent towards him. Gary Trent Jr., who has been excellent tonight, hoists up the 3, no good. Kelly Olynyk saves it. Grady Dick, the follow-up. And guess who it is?
Boucher! Boucher! Boucher!
And so I thought that final 45 seconds really embodied why Chris Boucher is such a winning player. and a guy who you want to play when you're on a rebuild, when you're trying to figure out things, when you're trying to win games, when you're trying to instill a quote unquote winning culture. Having a guy like Boucher who's never giving up on possessions, who's constantly fighting, who you can never refute has energy and effort on the floor. I think that's a huge thing to have as a sort of blueprint or an example for some of your younger guys on the floor. And also, Coach Darko Rajakovic, post-game after the Phoenix Suns game, another game where Boucher was really, really good in extended minutes, said that he still wants to see more from Chris defensively. And I thought Chris was excellent tonight defensively. And these are a couple of the plays. The Blazers guards were trying to hunt him on switches, and he did a really good job of containing them. Gets this block here on Scoot Henderson. This time, Duop Reith, he digs in, swipes the ball, and it's a possession for the Raptors. On this Thibault drive, he is able to contest it, get the block. On this possession, he sends help on the drive, and it forces Kamara into a tough shot. This time, Blazers get the switch again. Watches Chris Boucher forces Scoot middle, and then even is able to help at the nail for the Delano Banton drive, recovers out to Scoot, and then stops him once again. And this one on DeAndre Ayton. Ayton wants to take him one-on-one, uses his length. Boucher uses his length to get the block shot. So as far as defensive effort, as far as doing more on the defensive end, I thought Boucher was excellent tonight. And so he's making a case for himself to get more minutes with this Raptors team moving forward, especially with them being undermanned. He played 26 tonight. I believe it was 22 against the Suns. He was a big part. I believe he led the team in plus minus tonight. He was a big part of this comeback. He was a big part of the Raptors clawing back into this game. And there were moments on the court, I don't have them clipped, unfortunately, but there were moments on the court where him and Quickley were both really fired up, right? Like as if they kind of understood each other. They were like, hey, like we're trying to win this game, let's go, right? Quickley was fired up pretty much all throughout this game, talking trash, doing things. That was awesome. Quickley, by the way, another incredible game, really, really showing off his scoring ability post All-Star break. The shooting is back up. He's getting a little bit better as a finisher. The pick and roll, pull-up shooting has been incredible. For the Raptors Republic fans here, go read Samson Folk's latest article on that, and his kind of resurgence, or I guess surgence, if you will, whatever, in this post All-Star break kind of way, if you will. Sorry, I don't know what I'm even saying, but go and read Samson Folk. When it comes to Quickley, he was awesome, but I thought him and Boucher were really on the same page when it comes to the energy that they had for this game. They both looked like they did not want to lose this game. And that's important because when you're building a rebuilding team, trying to figure things out again, and, there's no real continuity on the roster either, other than Scotty Barnes and Chris Boucher, you have to have guys who still give a damn. And you could tell that IQ, that Kelly, that Chris Boucher, these guys really gave a damn tonight. And I think those are the type of things that are going to help you long-term in a rebuild. And that's why Chris Boucher should play, folks. That really, in my opinion, I think the value of having a guy like that play for you and give a damn probably outweighs getting Jalen McDaniels minutes in overtime. I think that for me makes more sense. Now, that being said, not part of the coaching staff. I'm not part of the inner working, so I don't know if there's more to it than that. But in terms of effort and play and production, Chris Boucher should absolutely play. And by the way, he's been a plus-minus king off of the bench for the Raptors for 3 seasons in a row, 4 seasons in a row, maybe. He has consistently been a very productive bench player for the Raptors. And he's been, yes, bonehead mistakes here and there for sure. Still lacks consistency as an offensive player. He made a few threes tonight, which was really, really a good sign for his offensive game. But overall, you can never, ever question his effort and his intensity. And I think with this specific Raptors team, with the lackluster starts, with the sluggish starts, you can question their intensity and their effort on some nights. And I think bringing in a guy like Boucher would really help to change that, in my opinion. That being said, folks, tough loss. The Raptors, again, were just undermanned. I know I saw some people on social media being like, this is embarrassing. I can't believe they're losing. And I get it. They're the Blazers. Blazers aren't having the best of seasons. And obviously they were hurt too. No Jeremy Grant, no Shaedon Sharpe, right? No Malcolm Brogdon. Same time, the Blazers have a good amount of talent, and they actually have a depth of talent. Duop Reith is playing well for them. Toumani Camara is playing well for them. Some of these guys that they kind of like fringe rotation players, they've turned out to be pretty good players for them this year. Shining stars, if you will, for this Blazers team. So I don't think they should be underestimated. And that being said, the Raptors were also undermanned. They were missing their all-star forward, missing their starting center, missing RJ Barrett, who they just traded for as a cornerstone piece, and obviously missing Bruce Brown. I don't think this Raptors team tonight was like the more talented team. Clearly they had talented players and Quickley and Gary, and like they were doing things that were right for pretty much 3/4 of the game, but it's not like there was some insane talent disparity that was like this Raptors team, even as it stands, should be able to win this game. I just don't think that's the way it should be. Either way, they made a game of it. They fought hard. A lot of that has to do with Boucher and IQ and the games that they had. Yes, subscribe to the Raptors Republic channel. Like, comment. Make sure if you would like, to help get this video out to other people who might be interested in it as well. Appreciate you guys. Excited to watch the Raptors versus Nuggets game. That should be a lot of fun given how undermanned the Raptors are right now. And Nikola Jokic, you're like, how is that even going to look? But regardless, folks, that's it. 17 games left on the season. It's going to be a bit of a grind going forward just because, obviously the Raptors are dealing with injuries and maybe playing for lottery balls here a little bit, but we'll see how it goes, folks. Thank you so much. See you guys later. Peace.